You guys know what I thought? I'm starting to think that Mark Cerny is basically the John Lasseter of video games. In which sense you mean? The sense that, much like John refuses to just acknowledge that nobody likes cars but him. This is basically the equivalent of in video games. Nobody likes Knack except for Mark, but he just refuses to see it.
The difference is that the original Cars actually did have a fan following. I mean, yeah, it was regarded as the weakest, but it was still considered good by most people.
And then Cars 2 happened.
Yeah. Cars. I'd say that Cars 2 is the Knack of Pixar and John Lasseter. In fact, nobody really liked Cars 2 for several reasons.
It's an interesting parallel.
And then ironically, may I finish?
Oh, sure.
And then ironically, Cars 3 turned out to be an improvement, but from what I've heard, it's a little bit of too late.
The interesting thing about Cars 3 is that even though it's technically a better film, I actually hate it more because of what it does to what happened in the first movie, but that's a topic for another day. Let's just say I don't like that movie, and I'll elaborate in a couple. But the point is, yeah, it's still kind of an interesting parallel of sorts, I think. It's, especially considering both are cartoony franchises.
Well, it's not the first time Mark Cerny's been associated with mediocrity when it comes to cartoony series. Remember, guys, he was in charge. He was one of the guys who helped make Crash Bash.
No, come on, Crash Bash wasn't mediocre. I mean, it was a party game that did its job. I mean, now if you're thinking of it as a platform, of course you can.
I mean, Crash Bash wasn't great, but I'll still think that over Sonic Shuffle.
I still want to know what the fuck Real LaRue is supposed to be, though, but yeah.
A kangaroo?
No, it's part monkey, part gorilla, part
kangaroo.
I mean, also in terms of legacy, it just shows up in that game and no one remembers anyway. Anyway,
yeah. Basically, the goblins are attacking the city, so we have to save it.
Is this platoon now?
Not just that. Not just that, too. Here's my big problem with this cutscene. This stage is not really going to matter in the grand scheme of things in the plot, and you'll see eventually with time. And this is the longest level in the entire game. This level drags. It just keeps going and going and going and going.
It's not very interesting.
And considering we're literally gonna, you'll see in a moment, we're gonna become like literally a giant Knack fighting giant robots. It starts to get to a point where I'm starting to feel like I'm watching a cartoony, kid-friendly version of the Knackformers movies. It goes on for that long.
Well,
or at least feels long.
At least it's not racist, I guess.
Yeah. Well, yeah, of course, but. Regardless of that,
unless the goblins are kind of like of a metaphor, but I don't want to even know.
It's actually interesting because even Donkey brought this up in his review of Knack 2. When you get right down to it, both games, Knack 1 and 2, because 2 has kind of pretty much the exact same plot when you get right down to it. Both games kind of have a Knackformers style plot. There's a MacGuffin that they need to get. That will, in the hands of the villains, will doom for the world, and we have to have big battle with giant things. I mean, I know that Knack is not a robot. I know that Knack is not a robot, but he's kind of a golem-like thing.
The difference being that the Knackformers, at least, were visually entertaining. Knack can't even really pull that off.
I don't know, Joe, but my experience with Transformers is very limited, but I never was a particular fan of the design.
The first one looked fine, I guess, but Transformers 2...
I'm speaking mainly action-like you. I mean, are you referring to which designs now?
Physical appearance, you know.
Oh,
I guess I can agree with
that's definitely going to be, your mileage may vary territory, but I'm talking mainly about, actually keeping the audience invested.
He means being visually, like the visual spectacle he means too.
Oh, okay.
I mean, aside from all these particles, Knack
remember
doesn't really manage to fulfill any of that.
I would agree with you, Jova, except for Revenge of the Fallen. That movie, even the effects was sucked as far as I'm concerned.
Well, there is a reason. Well, remember, one of Revenge of the Fallen. One of the things that was going against the movie was time, and apparently when ILM were doing the effects, one of their one of their servers at one of their rendering farms caught fire.
Oh, wow, what didn't go wrong with Revenge of the Fallen? I mean, there was the writer's strike, the FX rush, all that.
Oh, we got a new part that we're of a device that we're never going to use in this playthrough.
The one that allows you to detect other hidden pieces.
Don't you just love redundancy, Jova? Don't you?
Yeah. Oh, speaking of which, we're in the city level. Now, you know, normally in a game like this, because you can do a lot of stuff like, you know, interact with the environment, blow certain pieces up or, you know, cause damage here and there. But here...
Hey, Taylor, I'm wondering right now.
Yes.
Will this level be any more exciting if we play the rooftop run over it? No, the actual rooftop run theme. Because remember, Taylor, it's not nighttime, so...
Knack is not going fast enough. So.
Yeah. Alright, time to defeat all these enemies with the same free punch combo over and over.
Oh god, that blur.
Actually, it was more because of the slowdown or something. Alright, let's keep going. You'd think with a city as big as this, there would be some room to waddle around, but no, it's still nothing but linear hallways.
Yeah, it started to remind me a lot of those levels in Jack 2, where they just keep going and then every time they like starve on checkpoints and then pummel you down with soldiers with pinpoint accuracy. God fucking damn it.
Now, to be fair, the Crash Bandicoot games are linear.
Yeah, I'm gonna take Crash.
Yeah, but remember, Dwebs, Mark also worked in the Jak and Daxter game, which are open world.
Not to mention the fact that honestly, and okay, let's be quite honest, when it comes to Crash being linear, that's mainly like the first 4 main series games, and those were mainly that way they were because of technological limitations.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not gonna say that like, well, I'm not gonna say that, you know, like, well, even if they had better tech, they would have done open world stuff. I will say this though. Starting with Twinsanity, the Crash games weren't that linear. I mean, okay, they were more so a mixture of linear but open world areas. Like, heck, even Crash of the Titans had, you know, slightly more open and less linear regard here and there. And Mind Over Mutant, of course, took it a bit too far, but my point stands as this. Yes, the best, okay, the original trilogy and Wrath of Cortex are known for being linear no-level designs, but there was a sense of purpose with them being linear here. Whereas with Knack, the difference is...
how do you guys teleported here?
Well, I gotta say though,
I have no idea.
Jennifer.
Hold on, Dwids, let me finish. The difference here is that Knack constantly teases you with the idea that these worlds might be more open, only nope, you're restricted to a linear...
Hold on, cutscene.
Okay. That's not time.
Hello, once again, they're gonna shove this
on a tank. Would you put tail fins on it?
Nope. Kind of stupid.
No. So then tell me, what's going on here?
I don't know.
Why is the game pointing out it's a stupid design?
Why do we even care that there are tail fins on the tank?
It looks just like Charlotte's old car. I wonder.
Wait, hold on.
So the game is literally poking you in my face with a giant stick.
So did that guy just call his own wife's design stupid, though, when you think about it?
Yeah, he did.
Also, I love how...
Remember, we've already established that Dr. Vargas is a fucking asshole, and trust me, it doesn't end here.
Also, I love how the goblins waited until the cutscene was over to bust in. That's...
They're polite guards, Jova. Respect them.
That's sloppy pacing.
I was gonna say, Jova, your point about the first few Crash games being linear, I think one of the Wrath of Cortex's problems was that I think they stretched the roads out a bit too wide to the point in some levels you can just run around enemies.
That's also because well, that's actually a good point with the large level design, but Wrath of Cortex tried also something new in a sense of having levels that kind of connected to each other, having levels with multiple phases instead of having just one big. 3 and a bit of 2 also did kind of this. But Wrath of Cortex was the one who did it the most.
And
so in a sense, the linearity was evolving in that way.
However,
and even then, that's because they were, they were trying to compete. Let's be honest. I mean, Crash has always tried to be this. At first, on PlayStation, it has always tried to be Sony's answer to Mario and Sonic. So obviously, we were going to try to do a platformer by the book in that regard.
Well, I mean, admittedly, when Crash was coming out, Mario 64 was the antithesis of the.
True, but that was a natural evolution of a very old product anyway. The PlayStation was needed something for a starting point.
Yeah,
True.
yeah.
Also, to return to address what Jova was saying about the guards in the cutscene, that's a sad for Jova. Like they could have Mark could have just easily directed that scene in the typical way these cutscenes are made, where they would be talking about the design, and then the guards suddenly bust up, and they're like, "Oh shit!" And then we come back to the gameplay. That would work. There you go. Yeah. See, Mark, I literally just came up with the. This is basic shit, Mark. Come on.
Speaking of basics here. Okay, can I talk about how... Okay, here's one thing that ticks me off. Knack is powered by relics. As we see in this town, relics are apparently everywhere in the scene, to the point where something that looks like a mailbox has relics that you can bust out here. Not only that,
even the phone boots, kind of like the red TARDIS, give you either relics or sunstones.
Not only that, but apparently the street lamps also have sun crystals that you can collect in them. So, let me get this straight. This town practically runs on relics. Never mind that they don't even really tell us how that works, but how is the town limited on resources with all these relics in the first place?
Hell if I know.
Yeah.
Because that's apparently the reason why they created Knack, because the humans are low on resources against the war against the goblins.
Good, now you have 2 giant robots and 2 goblins with axes, that's fair.
Not only that, but this takes the whole gameplay story segregation of how OP Knack is to whole new levels. It's one thing when Knack was kind of, hurting for these relics when he had to use substitutes. But here, it's an entire town practically made of relics.
Yeah, in fact, Jova, you actually gave me a point. These levels should have actually be having a colossal enemy, kind of like one of those giant enemies that the Mario and Luigi games have recently.
We'll do it, but it's reserved for the boss.
Oh, no, not just that. And having Knack literally absorbing every single relic in the city and become, massive and towering, being Godzilla-like, really. Great training, mate.
Katrina's training.
Yeah, so she's a strong, independent woman and shit.
Because, working on a doll, which is more physical, is totally the same thing as fighting Knack, who's, again, a magnet, so a lot of his pieces aren't really connected to how it should hurt him.
There's something I think you'll enjoy seeing.
So he's gonna give her gadgets kind of like Crimson Viper.
It's nothing high-caliber weaponry won't fix.
Darling, you really know how to talk to a girl.
Oh, no, seriously. She's talking about the last time she had an encounter with Knack. He said he didn't only outpower me, he also outfought me. Dude,
it's interesting
all he did was just punch her moves. I don't really think that counts as outthinking.
Having played Knack 2, it's really jarring to me to see how much better the models are in that game, because the models in this game look PS3-ish, like Dweebs already said. Like seriously, Knack 2 looks so much better than this.
Oh yeah, that's right. They bring.
Well, this also reinforces the theory of these being rushed to be a launch title.
Yeah.
Oh,
More.
But that's just a TO theory.
No, Dweebs. Don't associate me with
breaking
wine.
more robots.
Fighting to save the world.
The music's not even interesting.
Can't you just feel the excitement too?
Okay, the Bayformers video game back in the PS2 and 3 times allows you to interact with pieces of buildings that you can blow off. You can actually use different street posts,
But Jova, we're the good guys. We can't destroy buildings.
Well, well, funnily enough, during the Autobots campaign, the game kind of does scold you for causing destruction, whereas with Decepticons, you actually gain bonus points for causing destruction. That's nice.
So that's pretty much separates where the fun factor in playing the game is.
Wait. I was on top of the tank. I punched the air, and that somehow defeated the tank.
It just works.
So let me get this straight.
There's bad hit detection, and then there's this.
I'm not.
So I love the way that the tank gets, carried like it's a paper box.
So so in regards to giant robots smashing stuff up and beating each other up, a tie-in to a movie game back in the PS2 and Wii era is outdoing a PS4 game.
Brilliant.
A tie-in to Bayformers, by the way. In fact, the Bayformers game actually has a better plot than this.
That's sad.
Wasn't it based off the movie?
Yeah, it was. Although it focuses a bit more on the Transformers, kind of cuts out some of the scenes with the humans.
Thank God.
Not that I didn't like the first Bayformers movie, I actually did appreciate it and how it was a plot I could follow, unlike Revenge of the Fallen.
Yeah. What's even that goop that the goblins are spraying over?
It's acid, whatever. The game never really explains it. I'm guessing
Acid?
it's poison.
What? Oh.
I don't know. I don't know, Joe. But the game never explains it. I'm trying to guess.
Oh no!
Wait.
It's boiling acid.
How did you got teleported here?
Hold on.
Teleportation.
Why is it that you were able to pick up the other tank, but that one you just smashed with your fist?
Go on.
I guess you can. I guess you do the cutscene. The game doesn't have a use for it.
Yeah.
Stupid.
There you go. Basically, remember we made those fake relics that have transmitters. So now that they've sucked up the relics with transmitters, now we can locate where Gunnahar's base is. But go ahead.
And then Gundahar goes like, "Because you just stole me, Knack boy."
How did they even distribute those ahead there?
I don't know.
Thanks to their teleportation powers, Jova, they just ran all over the place and placed them. It just works somehow.
Yeah.
I don't know. Well, that's a sun attack.
Yeah.
Go.
Also, more generic orchestral theme.
Yeah, the music is so bland. Like,
I mean,
seriously.
it's not bad. It's just
bland. It's not bad. It's not like it's like a complete mess that rapes your ears or anything like that. But it's completely devoid of personality and the melody. I can't even catch the melody. It's just random orchestral noises.
I mean, like,
to me, it reminds me of something. Maybe like the superhero movie. Maybe one of the Spider-Man movies, I think. But from that, nothing.
So you're telling me that, like in the Baby's Kids video game, throwing stuff is a more powerful attack than actually punching stuff?
Yes. And before you ask Jova, no, there is no uppercut in this game. All right, let's keep going.
I can't believe this game is making me wish.
Oh no, blockade.
Wait.
How will I ever cope with it?
Okay. I get that you need those barriers for the sake of, keeping the progress linear, but couldn't you find it?
God damn it.
But why couldn't you come up with a way that makes more sense in universe? Because why would the city even have those things there?
And why would you need to, for the government to raise that as soon as Knack passes?
Guys, this game is amazing. Like, it's incredibly boring, and yet somehow we have so much to talk about still. Because
I wish Joy Void was for the good reasons and not the bad ones.
It's because it's.
Oh, and by the way, nice collateral damage there, Knack.
Also, did you notice one of the pieces of the falling building flew upwards?
Hey,
but don't you know, Jova, the area has been evacuated.
By the way, hey, Pedro, I remember how pieces would fall upwards back in the PS2 era.
No, Pedro, you're missing a building. Oh, there you go.
I actually have to go through there anyway. Brilliant.
You probably destroyed someone's house there.
Oh god, the tank actually resists to the sun attack.
To answer Jova's question, see, the thing is, Jova, the reason it's so easy, Jova, it's because this game feels like it was made by amateurs. Like, it's so... a lot of mistakes here are so naive, and you didn't really expect from first-time developers. Even this is Mark fucking Cerny.
So which building do you need to destroy?
This guy worked on Sonic 2, allow me to remind you guys. This guy's been around for years. Ugh.
He was involved in Crash Bandicoot in that.
Like I said, even before that, he worked on the Sega Technical Institute back in the 90s. He did a lot of awesome Mega Drive games. Ugh.
More landmines.
It's okay, all we have to do is... It's okay, all we have to do is jump. There we go.
So do you actually have to fight some of the goblins with the vacuum weapons?
Well, technically you don't have to kill the enemies. I just do it for the sake of.
No, but like will be later a potential obstacle in a sense, because that makes sense as an enemy type, like that sucks away your relics.
Oh, the sucking relics thing. Surprisingly, no, not in this
Why
level.
would you introduce this concept and not use it as an actual enemy, which would make a lot of sense? Oh my fucking god!
Pedro, meet Knack. Meet.
I can't believe it. Like I don't know shit about game design. Even I know that's a smart idea.
And I have been taking some game design classes, so I know exactly a lot of stuff about that business. But
it's even better because you literally recycle an asset instead of creating a new enemy type. What the fuck, man?
Did you notice how I said fuck it and allowed those mines to hit me in the last?
Yeah.
I hate the landmines in this game because they're literally nothing but a stupid, annoying nuisance that just.
Pedro, you're missing a building.
I don't care. Moving on.
Oh.
Wait, so this game encourages you to break buildings?
The one that are cracked, yes.
But for all you know, there could be civilians in there.
No, it's okay, Jova. Evacuation and stuff.
No.
It's okay. It's okay. Orders were ordered yesterday, and everybody has been evacuated to the safe zone.
Here's my point, though. Even if civilians are out of there, what is the point of Knack breaking the building?
And you died. Oh well.
Okay. Continue, Jova.
But at least the checkpoint seems to be fair for
regardless of whether or not there are civilians in those crumbling buildings, what's even the point of Knack breaking them?
Usually they lead to something or they're hiding relics.
But, I mean, really though, they don't even all seem to do that either. And again, look, you know, even in Transformers, at least when it comes to the Autoback campaign, it only really critiques you for causing destruction, like, you know, when you're in the overworld, and I don't think it does it during missions because with components that would be freaking unfair considering the stuff you have to do during missions. But here, again, Knack is supposed to be the hero, and this is a story-driven game. Like, I mean, seriously, there should be some significant reason why Knack should break these buildings to help him out. Like, he doesn't even get a movement.
Also, again, the tank seems to resist more to the sun crystal damage for some reason.
Indeed.
Because it has a burn.
Well, sometimes it raises it, but other times it's just way open, so I don't know what's the criteria.
You know what's funny? At first I thought that it was only the huge, the larger tank that you could pick up, but no, you could pick up
there was a person in that building. I guess you're right, Jova.
Yeah.
Knack, you monster.
It's interesting you talked about the checkpoint earlier, Theo, because I'm actually going to this part is also going to serve us to show off how can the checkpoint system be annoying. But anyway, this is a scene with Gandahars.
All right.
Finally.
And yes, Theo, we're doing this cliche now. You know the one.
Oh my God, Mighty Number 9 did this.
Show your face. Your name Gandahar?
Yes.
So it's a two-way camera.
Okay. Who's voicing?
I don't know.
Why do you work for them?
Oh, it sounds like Robin Atkin does.
Wow.
But I
that's
would love to destroy things.
Let me guess. Join me, and we can rule together.
There you go.
We're doing this. I guess it was.
Wait, hold on. Character moment.
But what you do, this is evil.
And your line is weak.
You
Let's
broke some of the buildings.
Never.
Yeah, you see, this scene should have worked better if Knack didn't say anything and just picked up something and destroyed it. That works. It works exactly. It works precisely in Doom, with the Doom Marine not saying a single word. Yes.
Gandahar's voice is Matthew Mercer.
Oh goody. Anyway,
I'm guessing.
Anyway, Dwibs and Teo, you're probably not going to believe this.
How are you supposed to know you can call up those?
Well, to be fair, this one is more obvious.
And at least it's not suffering from Contra syndrome.
Well, to be fair, Joe, this one is more obvious because, you know, those bars look so suspicious.
Oh, those are bars.
I can't believe what?
I never
Dwibs?
Go on.
Go ahead.
I never got that those were bars, honestly. They just looked like they were part of the skyscraper.
Still, Jova, they look a color different, so they must mean something.
Let me guess. I can't believe they're ripping off Spider-Man.
Not just that, but Dwebs, Teo, you're probably not gonna believe this because I myself have a hard time believing it. But that cutscene that we just saw with Kandahar, that was Knack's only character moment in the entire series.
Like, seriously, you gotta love how he says, why don't you join us? And then Knack's response is literally, well, I ain't no goblin either. Like, that's apparently his motivation for siding with the humans, because he's not a goblin.
Because whatever, because Mark's an incredibly lazy writer, he can bother to actually create some kind of personality.
But that's the exact thing. He would have got more if he would have been even more lazy. What the fuck?
It's like
this literally means having no idea what you're doing.
Now, you know what would have been, it's like Mark wanted to go for one of those stories where the named protagonist is kind of, a blank slate, and, it's really like, more of a duo partner with him.
Again, Jova, the Doom Marine of Doom 2016 trumps over this guy all over the fucking day, bro.
Yeah. Also, you were saying about how that was colored differently to you. Well, normally I would think that, but remember, there have been other instances in this game where stuff you think would work because, it looks different, would do stuff.
Well,
back.
Well, I forgot. In Victor's Castle, that I will give it to you, Joe, because that section looked completely integrated in the background. I had no fucking idea.
That's fine.
But it makes sense to us, because there are points where this script feels like it was written by George Lucas. Anyway, what I was saying was, by the way, too, once again, we were talking about the checkpoint system earlier. This is where I'm going to show off how bad the checkpoint system can be.
Goody, now you're fighting flying enemies.
And trust me, basically the only way to defeat those things is to throw shit at them. So let's pick up these cars from the civilians and just use them as weapons.
You're not gonna get any more this Lamborghini.
Alright, keep in mind, everybody. Every time you see, for example, even Dwebs read it, Chapter 7-4, Knack strikes back. That means that the game just saved the checkpoint. And now there will be no more checkpoints until the chapter ends, or at least until we get to a 7-5 thing, right?
So that would mean that we're close.
So keep that in mind, because this part can be really a bitch if you die, because you'll go back quite a while. Go ahead, Joe.
Awesome.
Really, we're hyping up Knack only now with this.
Yep. Also, never before has the gameplay story segregation been as awkward as it was with that cutscene of Knack and Kandahar. X character is that, he likes breaking things, but he doesn't do evil stuff like cause destruction, except that's kind of what we spent this level doing. Even to place the civilians in them. Like, I'll give the Bayformers movies credit. For the most part, the Autobots, they got knocked into stuff, but they never actively damaged this stuff with the full knowledge that there were humans in there.
No. That's gonna be reserved for when Zack Snyder makes a Bayformers.
The ultimate evil.
Wait. What? Hold on. So
no. I'm joking.
No. I was talking about what was going on screen. You were reforming, and then immediately it skipped to an animation of you holding the tank. What the heck?
Don't ask me.
I guess the animation starts regardless of the form you take. I mean, the game assumes you're automatically in big form, and. Oh, sorry.
That's another thing, Theo. Speaking of big form, the bigger he gets, the uglier he gets. Jesus Christ, this design is atrocious.
It's more detailed, but at the same time, it's more... I don't know.
It's not pleasing to look at. It just looks like a pile of garbage.
The contrast between the red and the gold parts is nice enough, but the problem is exactly everything else. It looks like those relic innards things looks like wires. It just... Again, I was mentioning, kind of like mentioning before, you literally could replace it with like a skeletal model of an actual character and it would be kind of the same thing.
Also, what was the point of rolling that down at him? He's large.
Get it, Joe, because we're goblins, we're stupid, we're gonna try everything. Because...
I would like to keep in mind, everybody, that we're still haven't reached a checkpoint. If I die now, I get back to that point where we had the 7-4 prompt. So keep that in mind. Starting to see the problem here?
You know, it says something when even the original Crash Bandicoot, with as many design flaws as it had, and you know, that was maybe because of it being a product of its age, still seems more fair than a recent PS4 game.
I mean, this game could have just used the typical checkpoint system we see in games like Uncharted, we could do something akin to Uncharted, where the game is constantly auto-saving and creating checkpoints. I mean, it's not like the game is exactly, you know, it's not like this game has replay value anyway. So
I think an issue with this game was that I think he was. I don't know if I don't know what the schedule was, but maybe he was trying to work on the PS4 and this at the same time.
Hey, Knack, you want to stop Gundahar? No? Okay, just smile at him, I guess.
Oh, that's what he did.
Oh, now he's latched it up.
Well, actually, was the goblin in that playing Gundahar? I think it was some other goblin.
No, it was one of the chief things.
Yeah, it was Gundahar.
No, Gundahar is green. That one was blue, light blue.
No, whatever. It's not like any of these goblins have personality to distinguish from one another anyway.
I don't even know what Knack is supposed to look like right now. It's like a bear or something.
A pile of.
No, I mean the shape.
Topping up on each other.
I mean the shape it's supposed to represent.
Beats the hell out of me too.
Barry was back in the day. He was supposed to.
Oh, trust me, Teo. Wait till we get to the final level where we see his biggest form, and it looks even uglier.
Joyful.
Wait, hold on. So throwing the tank into that tank didn't defeat it.
That's because it was firing at the same time and the projectiles annihilated each other.
The animation didn't show well there. And again, that wouldn't be a first.
Oh, that's fair.
And there we go.
More tanks.
Oh no, these tanks are green.
It's one of the
Are we
ones
supposed to be intimidated by this tank? Oh,
because it's not only it's bigger, not only it's bigger, it raises shield and fires a single bullet, it's more powerful.
Oh yeah, that's right. Since we're bigger, it doesn't look as big. Yeah,
only proportional drawback.
Yeah, that is.
It reminds me a bit of Super Bonk, actually, when I think about it.
That's actually what I was about to say. Yeah, akin to Super Bonk, they kind of shrink down some of the screen size.
We got a trophy.
Yay!
It's like throwing 100 objects, I guess.
Yeah. Basically, throw a lot of things and you'll get that trophy.
Wow, so you're that huge and you're still getting attacked that much by enemies smaller than you.
Yeah.
Not just that, Jova, it takes still the same damage.
Hold on, you didn't even defeat the enemies there. What? Wait, what? Hold on.
Yeah, they just disappeared.
What happened to the tank you're holding? What happened to the tank next to you?
Sorry, Jova. Mark decided that they were unnecessary in the series, in the scene. Sorry, so they need to go.
You see, Theo, it's at this point where the game just starts falling apart. Not only story-wise, but
literally. Well, look at that. The houses are falling as well. So.
Not just that. Like, oh crap!
Wow.
That frame rate on those things falling.
Like, my suspicion is believe is enough for those crackle models to just disappear after a bit, because it's common in games. I mean, leaving the breeze can only slow down your game anyway, but the frame rate of, probably it's just no.
Oh great, more climbing.
Even though
sure, why not? Considering this rips off so much from God of War, I'm surprised you don't do combat while climbing.
I know why that's there, but you'd think that they would have put like the tower barrier to explain why Knack can't just hop over that street there.
Don't you see, Jova? That's because with this we can have a more different emotional set piece.
Sure about that. And let me remind everybody, we're still in chapter 7-4. If I die, I go back to that place you got where Dwibs read the Knack Strikes Back thing.
Oh wow! And you got hit by.
And that is exactly what you did.
No sense.
Never mind. I must have missed it.
Oh.
Did we get? Did we end?
We never got a new chapter. No.
Actually, Pedro, I think it depends due to the when specific cutscenes happens. Like that cutscene was a bit important, so I guess that counts as a checkpoint.
It would have helped if the game had an auto save icon.
So was
I guess, yeah. That's a thing. I mean, I don't mind per se, but that's another thing. It's easy to implement. A lot of games, even on the PS3 era, had it. So why not having that, like a big icon that pops up?
I mean, Naughty Dog's games don't have autosave icons, but Naughty Dog's games are constantly autosave with practically every step anyway, much like Dark Souls.
Pedro, why are you
I forgot. I forgot, Pedro. Are you sure there are not autosave icons? Not even like a mini circle in one of the.
Well, there. Okay. Let me rephrase that. There are. The problem is that at a lot of times it's just a white line circling around, and a lot of times look at this background. It's so easy to miss when you're in the heat of things, you know.
Also, what's going on?
Oh, I wasn't meaning these games. I was asking about the Naughty Dog games. I just forgot.
Oh no. In Naughty Dog's games. There's no autosave icon. What there is, however, is if you pause the game, then the game will tell you autosaving. Please wait before you can.
Oh, okay.
Whatever.
Also, what the heck?
Also,
is
yeah,
going on?
Kandahar is just standing there like an idiot.
Also, what the heck is going on with Knack's right arm?
That's because I got
damage. Yeah.
Damage, Joe. Remember?
Well, yeah, but you're not bad.
It lost relics. Well, there's damage specifically the relics on my arm, which is why the arm was damaged, I guess.
Look at how much damage that fucking thing
weird.
gives you with your standard machine gun.
See, here's
I
the
know,
thing.
right?
But here's the weird thing, though. You're damaged now, and yet now the electric sparks aren't showing on the right arm.
All right, everybody, time for the boss of Chapter 7.
Is it Kandahar himself, too? Like in that mech armor?
Yep.
No.
Ready?
Well,
Yeah.
Want me to
you'll
wait
see.
while you get in it? I'll warn you. I'm not in the most patient of moods.
Ooh, he's on the most patient of moods,
They're
guys.
literally lampshading the fact that
I'd only
Knack
hold
could
it
just
back.
defeat him right now
This
before he
fighting
gets into the
unit is
mech.
completely
Oh,
autonomous.
joyful. It's completely
Knack.
autonomous.
Knack,
Stop
how
him,
about you
punch it.
grab him
Or squash him.
instead of talking? I mean, we can talk later. Can we just capture him first? No.
Wow.
Alright.
Okay then.
That-
Oh, so he doesn't get in the mech, he just tells it.
because it's
Yeah, he just tells the
autonomous.
mech to defeat him.
Lame.
Bye, Kandahar.
And I kid you not to, it's literally, Knack had all the time and chance to punch the mech while it was non-functioning, grab Kandahar, threaten him,
That's it.
didn't do any of that.
Kandahar's robot.
And he doesn't even have an health bar.
No. The bosses don't have health bars. Just keep hitting him until they die, basically.
Well, I guess you can get visual cues by how much armor does he lose, but come on, man.
Not just that, but his attack patterns will start to change slightly as you damage him.
This is actually one of the better boss fights, believe it or not.
It is, but I still kind of.
What is
It
this,
goes
rock
long.
and sock and robots?
It does, however, go on for a bit longer than it needs to.
Also, come on,
notice
Kandahar
how-
needs to stay in the background and see what
Also,
happens.
Teo, since we both love to bring up when the bad guys have all the cool toys and we have the jack shit.
Yeah.
Take a look at how his rush dodge move is way better than mine.
Not just that. I mean, you're telling me that the Kandahar could have this robot? Yes, we know where does he get this technology, but he could get this kind of autonomous armor robot thing, and Victor could not come up with something like this.
Well, remember too, we also had an earlier boss where a goblin actually made his own mech. See, that's the thing, Teo. These goblins actually are capable of making their own mechs. So,
Actually, no, Jova, remember, it's Charlotte who's making all of their mechs.
Oh no, he actually trapped you in
Oh
the
wait,
face.
I just spoiled it! Oh my god, sorry guys, I think I just spoiled the big plot twist that you guys would never have seen coming.
well, that aside,
Sorry guys.
well, that
Don't
aside,
sense that's not even betrayal.
well, that aside, Pedro, remember though, the boss fight in the goblin with his own mech, where he did say he made it himself.
Yeah, where
I
did
mean-
that top 10 thing come from? Is that like a parody of...
Yeah,
some
parody
Watch
of
Mojo?
parody of Watch Mojo's clickbait titles.
I'm sorry guys, but trust me. Like, does any
I won't be surprised.
It's okay, Pedro, it's okay, Pedro, no need to bring it up again, but anyway
I
though.
won't be surprised if in the future Watch Mojo make like a top 10 lists.
The only thing I want in the future from Watch Mojo is only to die, please.
How about top 10 apologies?
Whatever, anyway.
Whatever. Go ahead, Pedro and Jova.
But yeah, remember, Pedro, there was explicitly a scene where a goblin used a mech that he did mention he made himself.
I guess, but it wasn't nearly as complex as this one.
Really?
What? What is it, Tim?
That's it?
That's it.
Yep.
Lame. You get no visual cue how much is damaged.
Oh, you think that's just it? So just throwing the leg is enough to
There
make
you
the
go.
ship come
He
crashing
got
down?
This is what happens when you like a complete idiot. Just stay. Wait, he just runs away anyway.
Nah,
Yeah.
just kidding.
I'm fine. I'm fine.
Well,
And,
that level, yeah. So yeah, this level kind of peters out. Like seriously, there was no point to any of this.
Oh,
not
you
just
know,
that. Knack had so many other things to throw. Why did he just barrage them?
Oh, by the way, you want to know what's even better? They don't even give a reason why Knack is small again now. It's just he's small again.
Why are you laughing? So what are we doing now? I don't know.
Remember, Teo. Well, we put the transmitters on Gandahar soldiers.
Alright, now we're tracking the base. Okay. Excitement music. I don't care.
An expedition to prepare for.
Bye, Lucas. Possibly the best of the human characters.
Oh,
and we got a Gandahar badge.
Well, Pedro, it could have been worse. It could have been like in Troll 2, where they give you Nilbog.
I guess.
Also, I hate to say it to you, but the city...
Oh my god, the sky is exploding for some reason.
Also, this may not be...
Oh, okay.
Also, to your bad news, I dare say the city level is the best level in this game.
Wow.
You know,
it's gonna go downhill from here.
Literally.
Watching this cutscene makes me wish I was playing any of the playing levels in any Crash game.
That's just the thing, Dwibs. In this game, you don't actually play cool things. You just watch cool things.
Crash. Whoa!
Why was he firing his guns?
Ugh.
Thank you, Charlotte.
Whatever.
So yeah, it looks like everybody except the characters themselves realize what the big twist is going to be.
I can fix the motor.
I'm actually surprised the goblins just don't directly tell them doing their
Go and
faces.
see what you can find in the way of relics.
I think they would actually, considering how much of a detriment that would be, but we'll wait and see. But yeah, literally though, I mean, to be fair, the game pretty much spells it out for you.
So yeah, in order to fix our ship, we need to get power moons. I mean, in order to fix our plane, we need to get relics. So in the next game, we're gonna have to get bigger again. So
Joyful. Yeah.
Yeah, then I guess.
Yeah.
See ya.
I feel a lot big. See ya.